Hello, everyone, and Artfully Connected with Cindy Harrison. This is another episode of Meet the Artist. And tonight we are talking with Beth Wagner. Thank you, Beth, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Excited to be part of the group.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we love that you're here and sharing with us your artwork because it's just beautiful, phenomenal. So we have some few questions for you tonight. But before I do, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And if you have a painting friend or a painting enthusiast friend who would like to be a member, you think it would benefit them, please invite them and let them know there are questions to be answered. They're very innocent questions, and we will approve them to join us. So feel free to ask questions in the comments below or on the side, wherever you are, and I will try to get them to Beth and have her answer them for you tonight. If not, she'll come back periodically and check them out and answer them when she gets the chance. So first off, real hard question.
Yes.
It is, because you just moved, but where are you from?
I am from New York. You can tell as soon as I speak for any length of time. But right now I'm living in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Originally a New Yorker.
But you've been a snowbird for quite a while.
Oh, yes, as long as my daughter's been married, which is 12 years. We had the grandmother up in New York and the daughter in Florida. We reversed it. So I decided to join her.
And are you liking Florida?
I love Florida. Everyone complains about the heat. I even like it now. I just don't like the cold.
There you go.
Yes.
So the day will come, yes. We all become snowbirds eventually, right?
I wonder where Floridians go when they want to retire. I've often wondered that. Maybe Arizona.
Because it's drier? Yeah, less humidity, probably. Yeah. Could very well be. So here's the next, very difficult question. Do you come from an artistic family?
Yes, I do. My cousin was an interior designer. My sister was the first graduating class from the Fashion Institute of Technology and was a designer in Manhattan. And I was a fashion illustrator, also graduated from FIT, and was drawing from the time I was a little girl.
Oh, you're getting ahead of my questions.
Sorry.
You must be watching too many of my Meet the Artist series. So your mom was artistic?
She was crafty, I would say. My mom was an incredible knitter and sewer and crocheter. She didn't draw. Eileen, my older sister, drew, and she was a great influence on me.
And your dad?
Dad was a plumber, but he actually liked to sketch. So yeah, he did. I forgot that, Cindy.
Yeah, so that's how it trickled in to your
Yeah, definitely did.
But I found out my mom used to sketch while she was talking. It was more like doodling while she was talking on the phone, when you were tethered to the wall. So she would scratch that and she would doodle. But her mom used to take designs and do crewel work from, make them up.
Oh, gorgeous. Loved crewel work years ago. It's coming back, by the way. If you love crewel, it is coming back.
That's time consuming though, huh?
I don't think there's anything I don't like to do with my hands if it's art related in some way.
Cool. So how about your kids? Did you pass it on to your children?
Well, I have just one daughter, Lauren, and she's an interior designer. She definitely has the design sense, just doesn't want the paint all over her and doesn't want to draw. So she was actually an art history major. And her dream job would have been to be a curator in a museum, but she's done quite well with design. She had customers up in Manhattan when she lived there, and now she's working with some people in Palm Beach.
Cool. Okay. So that's exciting, because I thought if I had another life, I might like to do that too.
Me too, Cindy.
But I liked what you did too, which we'll get to in a second.
Okay.
When did you start painting, or when did you start creating your artistry?
Artistry, we lived in Florida for a very brief time over 20 years ago. And I went into a shop one day, didn't know anything about decorative painting. And I saw the cutest magazine or little booklet with angels on it. Shara Reiner, had never heard the name, took it home and didn't even, I think, open the book. I liked the angels so much in the front, and I just painted it and thought, well, this is fun. You know, had never heard anything about it. Then I took a class, and it was Leslie Smith. And she, my friend, owned the shop, very cute shop in Delray Beach. And the next morning, she came in and said to me, the teacher said, she can paint, referring to me, but she has no idea what she's doing. Because I didn't paint in a decorative painting manner, I just painted. So that was my beginning.
Well, everybody has to begin somewhere, right?
Absolutely, Cindy. And I started teaching classes while I was still in Florida, just to the teachers in Lawrence School, and it just developed from there.
So the medium you actually did start with was acrylics.
It was acrylic. Yeah. Oh, well, no. I have to go back just a few more years. FIT, oil painting. And I hated it. All I wanted to do was draw. I am still an illustrator first, I guess, but I didn't like painting. And I thought, would they be laughing if they could see what I'm doing now? So I did paint in oil that far back, yes, but acrylic since then.
Oh, okay, cool, interesting. So the artists that influenced you besides the Shara Reiner and the Leslie,
Leslie Smith. Now, actually, then I'll take you a little. We moved back to Long Island. There was a shop called Creativity, a lot like a Michael's, just on Long Island, and they were asking for teachers to come in. And I just put some of my little paintings together, and I went in, and everybody online in front of me looked much more decorative painting than I did. And the woman said, well, what do you call your painting? And I said, oh, I don't know. And with that, I looked to the side, and there was a Rise Stoll Cup book. And I said, I paint like her. And that loose, free, yeah. And I taught a class. I was way over the student's head, which I didn't realize because I hadn't worked with anyone who didn't draw. And so then I became more realistic.
So about how old were you, or how long had you been painting when you started teaching?
Very short, because we moved back to Long Island. This is like deja vu. Moved back to Long Island. A friend of mine saw some of my things, put it into a shop, and I started selling things in a shop, little hand-painted things. And then I went to Creativity, and some of the people there asked me if I would give lessons. And I thought, well, that would be fun. And I gave lessons in my home. And then I submitted to MAD a year later, I think. And when I got the letter that I was accepted, I thought it was a million. I couldn't believe it. And I only taught 10 people because I didn't know you put down, they said, how many people do you want to teach? Or up to what would you teach? And I wrote 10, not having any idea. I knew nothing, just backed into the whole thing. And I couldn't believe what fun it was and how nice the students were and all of that. But I also I was painting murals then too. I got into painting murals in homes. I have lots of pictures of them and furniture. Wow. So I've kind of been all over the place with painting, actually.
Yeah, I love your life every time I hear about little.
Oh, and then, yes, are we going to get to the cruises too, Cindy? Or
yeah, we will. Yes. So I'm assuming because you could draw right from the get-go that you started designing pretty much like right away.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did. It's just, I love to draw. Anyone who knows my totes that are hand drawn, they know how much I love to draw. Yeah. It's still my favorite thing to do.
So the question I saw here, Gil or Jill, I'm sorry, but do you have a favorite subject to paint?
Oh, well, anyone who knows me well, roses and sunflowers and florals in general, are without a doubt my favorite things to paint.
Cool. And then there
They
was,
come, you know why? I think we're all like this. They come easy to me. I'm very relaxed doing them. I will show you some samples of things that I painted without even drawing, just painted them with my brush. Someone has said, few people have said to me, I draw with a paintbrush. And to some degree, I think that's true. Yeah.
I
But that
tend,
comes from years and years of drawing.
I tend to do the same thing. I can do things with the medium faster than I can draw them first and then do it. I
Yeah.
can't do it that way.
And
But
I think also you see more shape when you do that. We can get very philosophical now too, but you do see shape. I find if I have a difficult time, when I used to do animals and murals, it was easier for me to map them out with paint than actually draw their bodies.
cool. There's one from Diane. Thank you, by the way, for asking these questions. I love them. Diane is asking, besides your beautiful flowers, what other subjects do you like to paint and design?
Well, naturally to me comes people, because I was a fashion illustrator, but I also like scenes, and I do have a few, I think, around me tonight I can even show. I like doing scenery. Quite a few of the classes I've taught have been scenes also.
Oh, very good. So
And
Susan,
collages, so I love collages too.
collages. I love your collages too. Susan was it's asked, has Beth ever used other painting mediums?
I have used oil, and I do like it. It's just that I am busy with the acrylics, so I stay with the acrylics. Now, people think because I paint so loosely, I should be very good with watercolor. I love the look. I'm terrible at it. I do what I call a watercolor look with acrylics with a lot of water. I tend to overwork watercolors. I have to take some classes from some of my students who are so good at it. We
It's
say
fun.
with what comes easy.
We can learn from our students for sure.
Absolutely. I do all of the time, Cindy. That's a great remark. I absolutely do. I don't know if you feel the same way. Lots of times, especially with the roses, I just do it. And then someone will ask me a question and I have to think out what I'm doing. And then I teach better because I then can give an instruction on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if the students looks better than mine, sometimes I go home and change mine.
Oh, that never happens, right?
No.
So okay, so we talked about you paint first and then maybe draw after in some cases, not.
And in some cases, but I
Right.
also sketch
So-
out things too.
Right. So my question would be, how do you come up with these designs? Do you have the flowers in front of you? Do you take pictures of things and use your own photographs? How do you?
You know what? A combination of it all, Cindy, honestly. Often photographs will inspire me. Things that I see, which is not a good thing, I'm very easily distracted. And when I'm driving, sometimes I see things all around me. I think people who tend to be creative do that. It's like you're always being bombarded with things that are interesting. And a little side note, when I worked in the garment center, which is, big fashion capital, there was a saying, there are 6 original ideas and everything else is a knockoff. Meaning you see things and then you interpret it your way. And so I'm influenced by everything.
And I know what you mean by because I see sometimes in the class catalogs and conventions, the same thing, but a little different, but like the same, I mean, so much so it was the same surface, it was the same colors, and it was a pink flower, but one was a rose and one was a peony or something like that. Did they talk to each other? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No,
So
it
what
happens.
is your favorite medium? Do you have a favorite medium? Is it your pencil that you sketch with, or is it acrylic paints, or what is?
Acrylic paints. Acrylic paints just come so easy to me. And I mix them with a lot of other things, and I use them with a lot of water. When people take classes with me, and if more people should do this, they will hear me say repeatedly, oh, too much water, oh, too much water, because I do work with I work with a wet palette and a wet brush. And that's why my work, I think, has, again, that loose look.
A lot of people are telling you on Facebook here that they love your loose technique. So, and they love
well, and again, Cindy, and I do like to say this because I am a very loose painter and somewhat unconstructed teacher. Not every teacher is for every student. I don't like people to feel frustrated if they are very structured painters. However, they can just sit down and have some fun. And if a teacher, I occasionally, well, not in a long time, but I did take some structured classes because I love that look also. But I realized it's not for me, because then I become a perfectionist and I lose all of the creativity. So that's why not every teacher is for every student. You have to find teachers that you learn from, but if a teacher does a good job and she's made it fun, then it's still a good class.
That's funny, because this person just wrote, Janice Fusco's, how do you teach a looser style? Like, how do you get someone to loosen up? I myself am a very rigid painter, and I like those lines because I like everything methodical.
Neat and clean.
Is like, yeah, that's not a line drawing, okay? A couple squiggles does not a line drawing make. How would you get me to loosen up, Beth?
Well, I'll tell you, this is my advice for loosening up. Use a brush slightly larger than you can control. But you have to like the result. You have to let that perfectionism go. And it also depends on the look you like, because I also like very structured things to look at, but I don't have fun doing them. So you might be the combination of you enjoy doing. I put a lot of pressure on myself if I try and be too perfect. My things are never perfect. My frame is perfect. So see, I'll show you that.
I can't wait to see that one. I love that one. Okay, so I'll have to try that. That's all I can say is
Yeah, I do try. And I'll tell you this, because if I want something to be very loose, I don't use a liner brush. I use the chisel of my flat, because I cannot control it as much as I can control a liner.
That's interesting.
And I'll even point it out. Let's see. Yes, I can point it out on some things today.
Okay. This might be a rhetorical question.
Okay.
But what is your favorite technique?
My favorite technique.
See, to me, I would think it would be your roses, because that's what you're
I'm known for. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, people will show me something and say, "Oh, what would you paint on this?" A rose, of course. Roses come so easy to me. So of course I love them, but I also love sunflowers and other. But yeah, my favorite is the rose. It's hard to get people to loosen up enough, follow the technique, but then be loose. And if we have a minute, I'll tell you a quick little story. It's not a good one about me. I had been a fashion illustrator in Manhattan for 25 years, painted murals, a little bit of teaching, and then I took a rose class. I almost had a temper tantrum in the class, a silent one. I was very quiet about it. I could not believe I could not paint this flower. So I went home, and I tell this to all my rose classes, and I got a big piece of poster board and I painted it. And then I started painting painting a rose. And like kindergarten, I X'd the bad ones and I circled the good ones. And after a while, I developed this technique. I was determined I was going to paint a rose.
And now
And my roses are never the same. They're always slightly different.
but they're always beautiful.
Well, thank you. Not always. The girls tell me that. All my roses are beautiful. No. Well, they'll say, show me the bad ones. Oh, no. If you can't see them, I'm not showing them to you.
That's all good. Yeah, we are bad, and we show our we show the bad things and we point them out to people when we should.
No. You just say thank you very much.
There you go. So the next question, there's a lot of questions. There's a question: who do you like to collaborate with for teaching? So I know you've collaborated with many people, and I feel like that's kind of a loaded question. That it would, to say who was your favorite would be.
I can't say a favorite. I can say the funniest, Carol Spawn. We were like fire and water. I don't know. I was the sweet one. Carol was the fighter. I mean, we laughed more than we taught, I think, when we taught together. Ann Hunter is very nice to teach with. Let me think who else I've taught with. I have to think about it. Without a doubt, Carol stays in my mind. Carol just doesn't leave you, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you've done a lot of collaborating, and you've
I have. Who else? I can't remember right now. I have to think. It's hard for me to think.
Don't you feel like that the COVID thing has put everything that you've done so
far behind? Absolutely. Yeah. Great point, Cindy. It's true. It's almost like a new start again or something. Yeah.
It's hard to know or remember anything. I'm just giving you kudos. Your classes are easygoing and fun with a capital FUN.
I think, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but the first time I taught a decorative painting class on Long Island, and I hadn't taught other than the little group, the students kept saying, this is so much fun. This is so much fun. Oh, this is fun. And I finally said, what have you been doing if this wasn't fun? Why are you doing it? But they were very structured painters and they put a lot of pressure on themselves. I really don't. So.
Yeah, that's why it's the easygoing part, you know?
Yeah, should be fun. So, and learn technique.
Exactly. But enjoy the process.
Exactly.
You know, enjoying the journey of that.
Right.
Not beating yourself up over it when it doesn't look like it.
Absolutely. I have to be very honest. I'd rather have a student in class who doesn't paint particularly well, but she's really happy and having a good time than someone who is technically a beautiful, beautiful painter, but never happy with anything she does. They're so hard on themselves. Relax.
So you talk about a bigger brush than I could handle or whatever. Do you have a favorite brush that you tend to use more than any of the others?
Size-wise, do you mean, or manufacturers?
Just in general, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I paint with very large brushes, and I'll encourage always in a rose class to paint with a larger brush than you think you need. I usually paint with a 3/4 or a 1-inch brush when I'm doing roses. I like Dynasty. I did paint with Sharp. Both of them make wonderful, wonderful brushes. I can't, especially for the roses, use a brush that is too thick. Some brushes have too much hair in them. Both Dynasty and Sharp have a nice, sharp, crystal sharp edge. I paint with a lot of bad brushes because that also gives a certain technique to your work. But lettering, because I also love lettering. I love to teach lettering. Roses and lettering, I have to have a really sharp edge.
So that means not too many hairs?
Not too many hairs. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. It's too thick. And I'm just, as a reference, the Donna Dewberry brushes always had too much hair in them for me. I could not get that nice, crisp look. Because even my leaves, well, you'll see, I tend to just, sketch them.
That's a good tip though, because I never thought about the thickness of the brush
Definitely makes a
hindering your
difference.
ability to do those roses. And so maybe that's why
It
our
does.
don't come out as good.
No, no, you can't get that crisp edge, which there's several things I think that make my roses popular. And one of them is that sharp angled edge. Because I should have other people say what makes them popular. But I know there's certain things that I've heard from people.
It's very good. So there's a question from our audience. And thank you again for all being here and for asking questions so I don't have to think of all of them myself. How often do you paint? Do you paint every day or?
Almost. You know, I had a big move and lots of things happened in this past year. So there were times when I wasn't painting, but I say I paint almost every day. Almost, whether it's a tiny little thing or a big project. I love to paint. I really do. I really do. When I think how lucky I am to have met people, traveled the world, doing and getting paid, doing something I absolutely love.
Isn't it? It blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, it does. It truly should never take it for granted.
So Sandy's asking that to paint loosely, do you hold the brush? I mean, obviously you hold the brush differently. Is it like maybe you go higher on the handle? You're not so.
Not really, Cindy. No, not really. But I'm often at an angle when I'm painting. My brush is on a diagonal. I have to think that out. Next time in class, I'm going to mention that. I think, no, because you often see that you hold the brush way back. I don't do that. I also don't like long handle brushes for me. I work with a standard handle. Yeah, it's more just letting it go. And another reason I paint loosely, I'm looking at some of my work right here. And again, I love structured flowers. I think they're beautiful. But for me, my flowers have to have air around them. They look more alive to me. And when I go to a museum, or if I were to name, excuse me, my favorite group of artists, it's an impressionist. So I think it's just what appeals to me.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So here's another question from our audience. What's your favorite surface to paint on?
I've painted on just about everything. And often in my classes, especially when I teach in chapters or Zoom teach now, I'll encourage people to use different surfaces. Creativity to me is as important as the technical knowledge. And I love people that do something different with my work. I love painting on fabric. I paint on canvas. I paint on wood. I've painted on walls and floors and ceilings. Just about everything. And paper.
Oh, there you go. So there's really, any surface that takes paint is your favorite surface.
Yeah, absolutely. Not glass. I don't enjoy painting on glass. So there's one that I think because I am so loose and paint so quickly, it just doesn't work for me. It's not as much fun.
So I want to just touch a little bit on your illustrating years. So in New York City, because that to me, I don't know.
Sounds very glamorous, doesn't it?
It does. It's so
hard work.
I love the fashion district. I love walking in those stores when my daughter lived down there for a year. And it's just, to me, it's like.
That's right. I forget that. Cindy.
Yeah. So did you work for one company that whole time? Were you?
Oh, no. Originally, right out of FIT, I took a job that some of the other illustration students wouldn't take. It was called Paste Up at that time. It's what computers do now. That's how old I am. But I needed to get a job. Well, the illustrator left 2 weeks later, and I got the job. Some of the kids who were far, I told my daughter the same story. I tell every kid this: do not turn your nose up. I got the job. And a lot of the kids who went to FIT never worked in the garment center because it's tough breaking in. But I started out in this lowly position, and I worked for it was a buying office that bought for out-of-town stores. Then some of the stores approached me. I was doing work for them. And then I developed my own little business that I freelanced for a lot of people. And then I painted, once my daughter was born, I was married 16 years when Lauren was born. I started painting for a local department store out on Long Island.
So the paintings that you did, or the illustrations you did, were in catalogs, or were they?
Yeah, and actually it was very little painting. It was all illustration. It was washes and ink drawings.
So you would draw someone's ideas or someone's.
Yeah, so they would bring clothes into the buying office, or people would send me clothes. I would put them on someone, a model, and then I would sketch them. And newspaper ads. I mean, it was big business then. To be an illustrator. Yeah, I did it for 25 years.
Yeah, I feel it's very exciting.
Yeah, well, it sounds a lot more glamorous.
Yeah, I know, but it's something that I can't do. So to know you did it is like, this is so, to me, wonderful. I don't know. I don't get
But I also love to teach, and we can't do it tonight. Some other time, Cindy. There are basic little things you can teach people to open up that side of the brain. One of them is, I'm going to do this quickly. Write your signature. Just write your signature. You don't have to do this right this minute. Okay. Turn it upside down. Mm-hmm. And then, just like you were writing, again, from left to right, copy it, but upside down. Don't think about the letters. Just look at the line and the curves, and you're fooling your brain into actually seeing what you're seeing, not what your brain is telling you you're seeing. I have done this with students at home, and one girl in particular who was very tight, it changed her painting. I'm not being overly dramatic. It really did, because she started really looking at things. So, and there are other tricks like that.
So everybody at home, that's your homework to do.
That's right. It's homework. I want to hear how everybody does their upside down
We'll
signature.
Take pictures and put them on Facebook.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Let's see. I would love Beth to teach an open brain class.
Open brain? We don't want to open mind, believe me. Okay, an open, ask her what she means.
It's just exercise.
Oh, just a little of all of this stuff. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
exercise. Like my little tricks and how I see things, and we'd laugh a lot. And I think you would learn.
It could be fun. It could be
absolutely fun. Write it down, Cindy, sometime in the future.
So the next question I have, let's see. That's how I learned to draw. My best friend, and Melissa, she's like, that's how I learned to draw upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Murals are so overwhelming to think about painting, said Dorothy. Do you sketch the entire idea or just let it grow and develop?
Both, but even when I sketch it, it develops. And I often say this to students: do what you know for sure, then let the design lead you. Another drawing, as long as we're on that subject, when you've drawn something and it doesn't look right, hold it up to a mirror, or if it's on tracing paper, turn it upside down, because again, you're fooling the brain. Another little tidbit on that.
Right, because that's my next question is, do you have some tips? And you do. You had some tips right there that you gave us. That was
I mean, it really, when I'm sketching something, when I don't just paint it first and I'm sketching something, and it just doesn't look right, and I'll keep trying to draw over it and it's just not right. I usually work on tracing paper. I always did that as an illustrator also, because I can turn it over and immediately I see what's wrong with it. Or hold it up to a mirror. It's again, left brain, right brain. You're fooling that brain. However, one time at the Hoot convention, I didn't see my mistake until it was in the catalog.
Oh no.
So I told students, you see, I did that intentionally to show you.
that you're human?
No, you need to check everything a few times.
I know that I tell people too that I notice when I take a picture of something and put it on Facebook or even in Zoom, I'll show it. It looks better on camera than it does in person. It's almost like I didn't paint it, someone else did. You know, like the grass is always greener on the other side.
That's right, Cindy. I also say that in class. I should make up a little of all of my things I say in class, because you are always hardest on your own work, myself included. Yeah, you see your mistakes as you see them.
Right, right. And if it's in the computer, it's not yours.
No. Or often, have you ever done that when you didn't know it was yours and you compliment it? Like, oh, how pretty. Oh, I did it. I walk around and
I had a friend who made me earrings and I wore them one day and she almost was going to say, oh, those are really pretty. Who made them? And she realized she did. So she stopped herself.
Heaven forbid we compliment ourselves.
It was funny. Okay, let's see. So Brenda is saying, tell us how you transfer a pattern to fabric, because you have a nice trick.
I do. I don't have any right here. I didn't think. It's Diane Bunker, Tiny Treasures. Diane doesn't teach too much anymore nationally. She has her transfer fabric. Everyone has been trying to figure out what it is. Doesn't matter. Diane sells it so inexpensively. I also sell it. She sells it through me. It seems like interfacing, but it's not. Whatever it is, it lasts. And you actually lay that on top of your paper pattern. Draw it with a permanent. It must be a permanent marker. Trace your pattern. Then you take that transfer fabric with the pattern on it, put it on top of your fabric and trace it again. I did this at New England Traditions. We even used, it was a poinsettia design. So we used red, or I used it actually, I set it up. But you can use red, you can use green for leaves. If you want it to be cuter and a little more stylized, then maybe you'll put the black back on when you're finished painting. If not, the lines can disappear. It is the best stuff in the world. It also works on round surfaces. You don't have to use it just on fabric. I'll tell Diane I promoted her tonight. I'll take 10% of whatever she sells. It's fabulous stuff. It is absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. Cool. I'm sorry I didn't think to bring that out.
Okay, that's okay.
With my class, people will be getting that.
Yeah.
A piece of it. I'm including that.
Oh, awesome. So before we get to talking about your show and tell version of this, what is, or is there a medium, subject, or technique that you would like to try? And I know you mentioned a little earlier about watercolor needing to take lessons, but is there another type of medium or a technique or a subject matter that you haven't done yet you'd like to do?
What is it called? I'm not gonna. Margot Clark's.
Mudding?
Yeah, mudding. And I met Margot in person at where was it? Oklahoma last year, and she actually gave me a kit, and I'm dying to try that, but I have not yet. Yes, I would like to try that.
And so you need to get on that. I'd like to see your roses.
Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to do it, Cindy. I'll send you the first picture.
There you go. Let's see. So Janice says she loves her transfer fabric. Great for transferring patterns to ornaments. Nice. So now we're going to get to the show and tell part of the program. And I know that I said my question would be, what is your project for Upper Webinars? And you have so many projects right now on the slate for Upper Webinars. The first one is coming up in December, is the tote bag for
December or November, Cindy?
Oh, November. Sorry, November.
Wait, I'm confused enough. Don't confuse me more.
That's okay. I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Yeah, I think it's the 21st, but I shouldn't even quote it. It's November.
It sounds good. So you have it there to show and tell?
I do. Now you have to tell me if you can. This is on a tote. However, students, again, being me, I like them to be able to do multiple surfaces. So I've also shown it on canvas board. So I'll show you the tote first.
Yeah, and you'll have to put it back. Yeah, up,
Can you see it?
up, higher. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
again, very loose.
Very loose.
Very, very loose.
And that's done with acrylic paints.
This is done with acrylic, little fabric medium. Actually, I didn't even use fabric medium, to be honest, because if you throw this in the dryer, you'll never have a problem with it. Yeah. So
do you wash your fabric first and get the sizing out?
You know, again, if it's something that's going to be worn a lot and washed a lot, yes, Cindy. Tote bags, I wouldn't wash this if I didn't have to, because they never look quite the same.
Right. Okay.
Never. So that's the one version. Then, and you will get prep directions for both. I know you're excited for the next part. I know, Cindy.
I know, because someone else is too that asked earlier. She wanted to see it again and know where you were teaching it. So I was
this one or the frame. Okay. And now this is, all right, here we go. This is the same design, but it's done on canvas board or canvas. And then I am teaching this frame, which has become quite, that is just painted on the canvas board. Well, I'm supposed to be looking that way.
I like how even the corners don't match like they do in real life. They don't match.
Yeah, that's it. And again, if someone should decide to do the tote, they could pick another painting they have at home and put a frame on it. This is a painting I did years ago, and I added the frame to that.
It just amazes me that it's.
Yeah. And I honestly, people have come into my booth and thought it was a real frame. That's how real they look. So, and I know Cindy just loves this frame.
I love the frame. I can't help it. And thank you to my helper today, my assistant, Linda. She put Summer Daisy with Beth Wagner on November 21st at noon to 5 Eastern. So, and you can go to artfulwebinars.com and sign up for that starting tomorrow is October 1st.
That sounds right. Yes. Yeah. And again, you will get both information for both, prep for both, so you can make your choice.
And the question is, what size is the canvas board?
The canvas is, I'm not going to misquote, so I'll look. I think it's 16 by 20.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I think so.
The information is on the website, Artful Webinars.
Right.
I put it there, and I also put sometimes I put the colors that they use, so you can check your stock to make sure you have them. But I mean, really, those flowers, yellows and whites, right?
Yeah, you know, I work in almost the same colors most of the time. I really do.
So the other one you have is coming up is going to be, the next thing is the convention, right?
Yes, because I'm doing the ornaments after the convention.
Right. So you want to choose your convention pieces?
All right. Do you want to start with make it and take it demos or
whatever you pick up first? People love them.
All right. These are the make it and take it. This is the pre-cut hearts. And the idea is to learn, because I also have a definite technique that I use for rosebuds. I don't like those little comma stroke rosebuds. I like rosebuds to come to a point. Also, we get into a little bit of lettering. And this will be included, the worksheet. I have the 4-step rosebud worksheet, which will be included in the kit. And then the other one is just a fun, this is actually one of my roses that the fellow who does this to me actually took my drawing and etched it into cypress wood. Wow. So we will talk out what I've been doing. And then on the back, again, the rosebuds, and you could put a little message in there.
Nice. That's
So
so
that's
cool. Etched in.
that. But I've forgotten, really don't remember, Cindy, what I am demoing. Let's see.
Are you going to demo your rose, of course?
I think I'm demoing the rose or the rosebuds also separately. Yeah.
And then the project.
The project. I love this project. Sunflowers. I love sunflowers. And this, again, am I far enough away? Is that good?
Yeah.
And I did it. Here we go again. I did it on a tote. I had one day when I was just having fun painting all these totes. This was done without a pattern. Of course, you'll get a pattern, but I will encourage you to put on, I always do, as few lines as you absolutely need. I painted this entire design, excuse me, with 2 flat brushes. Look at Cindy's face. 3/4 inch, and I think it was a number 4, maybe. Now, I don't expect you to do that. I will demo it, but if you're more comfortable going with finer brushes, but if you want to have fun, the night of the class, do it on a piece of paper and let yourself go. And again, that could also be done on a canvas. This is one of my favorite pieces, honestly.
What's the size of that? Because it looks so big.
15 by 15. And it could be done on a, what did I just the other day looked? It could easily be done on an 11 by 14 canvas, is it? Or 11 by 16. You would just leave the square off and it would be beautiful. Or a piece of watercolor paper.
That's amazing. So, and the kit is just going to have the tote and the transfer paper.
I can do a kit, but quite honestly, guys, any good craft store, if you've got one near you, I am more than happy to mail you these, but you'll save yourself money if you're just going,
grab it yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, where else are you teaching? Oh, you didn't get to the ornaments for the ornament series.
Ornaments. Okay. This is the same fellow who did the other things, did these snowmen for me.
Yeah, back it up.
Here we go.
Right there.
And they are etched. The design is etched into the cypress wood. Since then, and he's not even charging more, the name is etched in, but he's also going to give you the name in about a 1/4 inch raised lettering with this etched underneath. So you can just glue that on and it will be dimensional. This is one version. I have Lucy and Henry, 2 grandchildren, so. And this is Henry's in another version. You will get both color combinations. And then on the back, because we have to write nice messages to our people we love, you will also get the design for this.
Beautiful. You didn't show me the backs.
No, I probably didn't. You know me. And then also, if people order early enough, Jack said these are so cute. And they'll be almost no money. But look at how cute this is.
To the left.
And that's Lucy and Henry. So just big enough to put a little photograph in the middle, and that could just be slid in with the other 2. That's it.
Yep. So besides our full webinars, which we thank you very much for being part of our family.
Thank you, Cindy.
Where else are you teaching? I know you mentioned cruises earlier.
Oh, yes, I do. That won't happen. Well, as a matter of fact, I floated around the Indian Ocean for an extra 2 weeks in March and we did not have COVID. We were actually in the safest place in the world on this ship, but nobody would let us in. So, yes, I teach for 2 cruise lines and very high-end cruise lines. These are not painters. They're just guests who would like to have some entertainment. And I teach very little watercolors, simple watercolors, simple enough that I can do them. And then we have an art show. And I've gotten to see the world doing this, truly. Russia, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Africa. That's where we got stuck. We did go up the whole coast of Africa, which was amazing, and made it to the Seychelles, and then they wouldn't let us into the Maldives or Australia. And when we finally got off the ship, we had 3 hours to get to the airport. No one could even touch land. We just ran onto the bus. And then for 11 hours, we sat in the airport and watched all the flights canceling. And 2 days after that is when they stopped letting people come in. We made it 3 flights, and I was back in Norfolk, because I was supposed to be teaching Virginia Beach. I do a week-long seminar every year in Virginia Beach, and I didn't make it because I was floating around the Indian Ocean. But I think people were relieved, because at that point, everybody knew how bad it was, and I think they were happy. So most of them, I think all of them too, have signed on for next year. Hopefully, we will be able to do that next year. And then where else? I mean, I've been all over the world. Honestly, I have. The Arctic Circle, across the equator. If I keep talking, you're going to hate me, because the opportunity is incredible. It's fabulous. And I always get to take one friend. Cindy, you should see all the new friends I have since this happened.
And
Everybody.
you never asked me.
I'll put you on the, well, who knows when we're going to cruise again.
Yeah, I'm not in any.
It'll be a while. I'm not taking.
I'm not in any rush to cruise, but
No.
Michael asked you if you need an assistant too, so put her on your list.
Okay.
But yeah, so thank you, Linda, for posting that. The registration for Beth's ornament class will be March 2nd of 2021. Let's see, we have a few VA Beach spaces open. Aha, so they're going to go with the Virginia Beach in 2021.
Oh, I've got, can I show something from that?
Anyone here from Virginia Beach offended if she showed what she's going to teach?
He has been.
Go for it.
I've gotten into birds. Now you talk about something, you asked me and I said, oh, flowers, I love flowers. Lately I'm teaching all these birds. I never teach birds. Let me go get Marco over here on the wall. I'll have to get him down.
So if you want to take a class from Beth Wagner on Zoom, you can look at Artful Webinars and see what she's teaching there, if any of that floats your boat. Look at this. Oh, wow.
And again, when you say we now here, where was my inspiration? I saw the most beautiful photograph of a bird in Africa. And so I did him.
Beautiful.
And this is, I think, 12 by 24. So we always have a design day too, where everyone does something different. And I just walk around talking about designing.
Yeah, talk about your.
Well, and honestly, to this day, that is my favorite thing to teach at chapters, but people don't get the concept. People can bring a small piece of furniture, something they can carry, or a tray or a table, some design maybe they haven't completed and they're just not sure what to do. And I never take more than 20 people. I walk around the room the whole 6 or 8 hours, talking to different people about different things that I see. We bring lots of stencils, all colors of paints. Each student brings something that inspires them. We talk design all day long. It is amazing the creativity that comes out in people. It is, I love it. It's, to me, a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Someone already wants to order your parrot pattern.
Not until after Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, so after Virginia Beach, is that,
it will be, yeah.
Do you release them as pattern packets, or could we persuade you to teach that parrot for an Artful webinar?
Well, maybe we can. We'll talk. Cindy's been so good to me. How can I deny her? Like Brenda at Virginia Beach was so good to me. I've had so many good people around me. I really have.
Yeah, it takes one to know one is the way I feel. So you're such a good person to everybody. So
anyway, I'm very proud of Marco. I think I've fallen in love with Marco. But, and I'm not a bird person.
Well, maybe that's the next phase of your life.
Yes. Well, we've had Henry the Heron, which I'm teaching up in near Detroit. I forget the name of the chapter. And also Pelican Pete.
Oh, okay. Are these on your website?
I believe Pelican Pete, again, because of the move and everything, I'm not sure what's where, but I have someone in New York who's taking care of a lot of things. Also, people have asked me about Rose worksheets, and we will be getting those together. I've had quite a year, as you know, Cindy, so things have gotten a little crazy, but they're all back together now.
Yeah, cool. So I posted Beth's website, and her Etsy site is the same name, Designs at Beth Wagner. So go check those out. You'll see more of her designs there and pattern packets that you can purchase. And I don't know, do you have any last, tips or
Words of wisdom? No, I never have many words of wisdom, but well, I'll show you some more roses.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And you can see, again, I always like to do, my whole rose is based on a cone. Because it returns everything to the stem. And these were all, again, painted without patterns because I just give myself the cone. And then I'll do a little show. Sorry?
Are you selling those?
I do sell them.
On your Etsy store?
On my Etsy store.
Cool.
And then these are my drawings. And this, people sometimes get a little confused because they say, well, where's the pattern? I mean, where's the color chart? The idea is we're two artists working together. I am the illustrator, and the person who purchases it is the colorist. So this is the idea behind these. And then people are nice enough to send them to me after. Let's see what else I have. Oh, they're cute. There's lots of them. But yes, I do sell them.
So do you have different price range, or is it all the same price?
They're pretty much, well, the drawn ones I think are 18, I think. I should never quote prices. And then the painted ones as it comes up. And sometimes I give them away. And then this is what I'm doing for Buffalo. I did find.
Oh, nice.
And hydrangeas. I also like to paint hydrangeas. And then I'm also going to Portland, Raindrop. And we're doing cone flowers. I've been doing a lot of cone flowers too. And butterflies. Somebody would like you to show the Halloween bags. Oh, I don't think I sold them all. I don't. Oh, it was a cute one. Whoever. Nancy says. Is it the witch one or the three friends?
Well, Nancy says she loves hers, so maybe Nancy should post on.
Nancy, will you post yours? Yes, people are kind enough to post them. Let's see if I have one in here, but I don't think so. I've always got a few things going on. What's this? Oh, I did a Florida one. Oh, an Easter one. That's right.
Oh, he's cute.
I love doing the Christmas one. This to me is like playing. It's playing when I'm drawing. I sit in the evening. Let's see what we got going here. Oh, here's a fashion one. I get surprises with my own work. Let's see. Oh, it's a mermaid. So they're fun. They're fun. And it's amazing what people do with them. Things that I wouldn't think to do. And they feel good about it themselves. And I never sign them because this is a combined art project, and they'll never be two alike because they're hand drawn. They are not done from a pattern. So even if I draw it again, it won't be the same. And no one will paint exactly what someone else has painted. So it's really an original. That is so cool. There was a person here saying, is your travel schedule somewhere? Do you have that posted on your website? No, I don't, again, because of, all that's happened this past year, but we will be putting it back on because I'm getting a lot of requests, Cindy knows, to do some Zoom things. But I actually am going to teach in upstate New York. They are brave enough, and I'm going to go do it. And what am I teaching there? Cone flowers again, and guess what? The winter bouquet. I have taught that more than any other project I've ever taught. So that, I think I've taught that honestly to over 400 or 500 people at this point.
So do you have that readily at
I
your?
have it on the wall. I can go get it if you'd like me
That's
to.
so funny you should say that, because someone was asking if you have a lot of your artwork incorporated in your decor.
Well, I am, now that I'm in this new apartment. That's what I am doing. And you want to talk decorating? So I love decorating. It's, the whole apartment is soft gray, white, very neutral, dark wooden floor. But then I have a round rug from Turkey with bright colors in it in the dining room. And then my artwork will have, this is not mine, this is from Africa, my last trip. And I have some other pieces. And so I'm going to have my artwork and a lot of African artwork for color around the apartment. I'm excited doing that. I'm a frustrated interior designer, actually. Anything that's creative. I honestly, again, this is only my opinion. I always say that in class, in my opinion. People can be excellent painters. I paint, okay. An illustrator. I'm a good illustrator, I think. My strongest attribute is design and encouraging creativity, because that comes natural to me and it makes me very happy. And I love it when students go, oh! As a matter of fact, I won't name her because she'd be embarrassed, but at Virginia Beach 2 years ago, Brenda would remember this, someone who was a very tight painter painted a little chest of drawers. She was so excited. She said, I never thought I'd be able to do this. I've never done anything without a pattern, without being told what to do. This was probably her 4th year at Virginia Beach. She made my day because she was so excited about what she had accomplished. I'm all about creativity. I truly am.
Yeah, that is such a wonderful gift as a teacher to see your students do that.
It is.
Yeah. The lion that you just showed us, that's your painting you did that?
No, that was Africa. Look at some of these. I mean, because on the cruise ship, we got to go into villages. It was wonderful. Everyone's gonna be smiling. Look, no, this was all done with fingers. One of the natives did this. Just fabulous. And I was going to give it to my grandchildren. And then when I did this apartment, I said, no, Nana's not giving that one up. Staying with them. And I mean, you meet such interesting people too. Well, and Cindy, I'm not being patronizing. I truly mean it. With all the traveling and all of the teaching in the States and all the people I've met from coast to coast, it's just been the best experience. It really has. The nicest. I meet so many interesting people.
So you're going to have to tell us how we can connect with some cruise line, so we can also teach on the cruise line.
I know. Well, do you remember when they did the painting cruises? That was about maybe 15 or 20, but then it failed. I don't know what the problem was. I taught on that. It was okay. This is just, it was the particular one, I think there were several. I'm not going to mention which one I was on. But this one, I am a guest the entire time, except for an hour and a half on sea days when I teach a little watercolor. And the students are fabulous, fabulous. We get to be friends.
I went on the first and only cruise so far. I went on one cruise. And I read up, and there people were telling me, oh, there's a craft room and you can go in the craft room and you can make stuff and on. I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to go. And that's where when my husband wants to go sit and read a book by the pool,
right.
Craft room. I'm going to do something fun, right? My boat.
Tissue flowers.
My boat had no craft room.
Oh, well, a lot of them are very crafty.
They had an art show with a lot of people's paintings up. I guess they were selling them or auctioning them off.
Yes, they do that.
And they had some really very interesting art that if you would ask me, what is it that I haven't tried yet that I would like to try, is that, I guess it's called impasto painting, where the paint is like big globs and a palette knife and you swatch it on, really raised off of the canvas.
Right.
Turns out my husband really likes that style of painting.
Well, then you got to do it. That would loosen you up. You couldn't be tight, Cindy. You could not be tight. Well, and
guess-
also at the end of the cruise, we do a little art show. So here are these little paintings, and we put mats on them. Everything looks good when you mat it. We've actually had people who wanted to buy some of the students' work because it looked so good once it was matted. A lot of fun. Very social. Very, very social.
So we have someone who's wondering what cruise line, if you wanted to drop the cruise lines.
Crystal and Seabourn. And incredible, lovely, 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 lovely people to work with. Just everything about it is really, really lovely.
Where do they cruise out of? Florida?
Different, a lot of times out of Europe. I've had to fly to Europe and then cruise from there, out of Florida, out of New York, out of all over the world. But of course, everything has stopped completely.
Yeah, which is very sad, but
it's where we are. And you know what? We're making the best of it, aren't we, Cindy?
Yes, we are. So we're here now, and Beth is going to start looking into doing more Zoom classes. She's got a couple with the chapters, and so
a couple of chapters and a new one. Oh, I must remember to tell Sue that. Yes, a new one that has just contacted me, and we have to send them some stuff. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Rather than sitting home and talking to myself. I'd rather visit, but we just can't do that right now.
Nope. So this is the next best thing until we can get back to whatever normal is going to be. So thank you all. Thank you so much, Beth, for joining me today.
Thank you, Cindy.
And, by the way, Beth is going to be going over her rose technique and doing a small project for us on Thursday night. It is a videotape, but Beth will be there to answer your questions while we watch the video together. Remember that watch parties, this is called a watch party, and you won't be able to watch it on an iPad. That's the only fallback. So you'll have to do it, watch the replay. I'll post the video directly to the website afterwards and you can watch the replay. But
do you have to watch on a computer, Cindy, or on an iPhone?
Desktop, laptop, or a phone. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
So we can watch it together and you'll answer the questions that people might have while we're watching it together. So see you everyone on Thursday night. Thank you so much again for being here, Beth, for being here, to all the people who were with us this whole hour watching and asking questions. Thank you so much. It's hard for me to come up with all the questions to fill an hour sometimes.
Well, we had some good ones too. I think we had some good questions. Thank you, everyone.
So everyone, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you on Thursday night.
Thursday, 7.
Bye, everyone.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.